Hi, I'm Mike Smith for FilmBook.com, and this is my audio podcast review of Season 1, Episode 2 of Gotham, Selina Kyle, written by Bruno Heller and directed by Danny Cannon. Before I begin to get into what worked and what didn't in Selina Kyle, the second episode of Gotham, let me do a quick recap of everything that happened this week. A proper couple referred to as the Snatchers began kidnapping homeless children in Gotham City, among them the young cat herself, Selina Kyle, and most of the episode is about Gordon and Bullock trying to get them. In the midst of all of this, the mayor sends all the homeless kids to live in juvenile hall to keep them off the streets. Also, there's a mob war brewing with the major players poised to be Carmine Falcone, Fish Mooney, and Sal Maroni, whom we've yet to see. In addition to that, Oswald Cobblepot is making his way back to town, killing and kidnapping some people in the process. Bruce Wayne's inflicting pain on himself, and Alfred is worried, and as Gordon talks some sense to the boy. Alan and Montoya also interview Cobblepot's mom, and Barbara ate Chinese food and interfered with Gordon's case. In her defense, it was the right thing to do. Does that sound like an awful lot of different plots to get through in the span of 60 minutes minus commercials? It sure does to me. The biggest problem with this episode and the last is that they feel overstuffed, like Heller isn't entirely certain where he wants the show's focus to lie. Obviously, Gordon is supposed to be our centerpiece, but then why open on Bruce Wayne burning his hand when that plot isn't that big of a deal in the present, and won't be that big of a deal for another 15 years or so? Why name the episode Selina Kyle, when Kyle hardly appears until about 40 minutes in, and doesn't have all that much bearing on the plot until the very end? The thing is, a lot of the individual plots are decent, and with some work, could make for a really compelling show by themselves. It's still early goings, but Gotham will almost certainly rapidly improve when it picks a direction and sticks with it. Because the stuff with Selina Kyle? I liked it. The stuff with Fish Mooney and Carmine Falcone? I liked it. The stuff with Oswald Cobblepot? I liked it. The stuff with Gordon and the rest of the police? I liked some of it. The point is, there's good stuff here. The writing is mostly solid, the performances are there, the direction is very nice, the pieces are in play for Gotham to be, at the very least, a pretty good show. Right now it's close, but I don't think it's there yet. The show is still way too on the nose about being set in the Batman universe and using Batman characters. Selina Kyle only goes by the name Cat, and then claws people's eyes out. You know, like a cat. And any scene with Bruce Wayne is littered with ominous dialogue to help telegraph the fact that, hey, this kid's gonna be Batman one day. Wink, wink. It's actually the Wayne scenes that I found the weakest this episode. Child actors are always a little bit of a mixed bag, and you're not always sure what you're going to get, but David Mazouz's line readings come across as slightly wooden to me. There's still time to let him grow into the role, especially if the show lasts a little while. But I had more trouble with Alfred. I'm really intrigued by Alfred's characterization in this show. He seems like a more hard-edged badass than the usual English statesman, and I think it's a very cool direction to take the character. But he seemed inconsistent in this episode, especially in the opening scene, in which he slapped Bruce and then hugged him in the span of a second. Though I'm not big on David Mazouz's Bruce Wayne, I was surprised at how much fun I had with the other child actor on the show, Cameron B. Condova as Selina Kyle. This is the first time we've gotten to hear Kyle speak, and the first time we've seen her in action, and though I was on the fence about casting Catwoman as a teenage girl, she handled herself ably and had me interested to see where her story would go. The episode's main plot regarding the Snatchers seemed like pretty case-of-the-week stuff, but I enjoyed the attempt at creating original villains that could exist in this world, and they made an impression. But I'm more intrigued by a line of dialogue they have that refers to the Dollmaker, suggesting this could be a direction the show goes in the future. For those unaware, the Dollmaker is the identity of a couple of different villains in DC Comics, but he was recently featured as a villain in the Season 2 episode of Arrow. I'm a little surprised the show would go in this direction considering that, but if they can bring a different interpretation to the table, it should be kind of cool. Otherwise, Selina Kyle consisted mostly of preparing for the future, setting up the coming mob war, and giving us a further glimpse into the homicidal tendencies of Oswald Cobblepot. The episode also ended on a very fun cliffhanger, with Selina Kyle ready to give Gordon information about the Wayne murders in exchange for not getting sent to juvie. It left me genuinely excited for next week, which is the first time in 2 episodes the show's been able to get me that interested. And finally, we continue Joker Watch 2014. There weren't any real candidates this week that were as obvious as the stand-up comic in the pilot, but there is one guy who says, "Watch the shoes, clown." So hey, let's go with that one. He's probably the Joker. Anyway, that does it for me. Thank you for listening to Gotham City's podcast. I'm Mike Smith. If you're listening to this review on YouTube or Daily Motion, please subscribe to our channel, like, and comment on the video below. If you're listening to this review via our podcast on iTunes, please subscribe to our podcast, rate it, and take a moment to give us a review. For more of my thoughts on Gotham and other films and TV shows, check out my work at FilmBook.com or follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/msmithfilmblog. Hope to see you soon.